Okay, this is this thing on? Yep, this thing definitely is on. So, just wait a few seconds for me to get this this streaming thing figured out, but yeah. I am live now, so yeah. Okay, so this is my first stream ever, so please excuse any things I do. And if the audio settings are not ideal, then wait. Oh, hey. Hey, Mary, how are you doing? Well, for those who do not know, Mary McCheese is my wonderful artist and sister, who has also done the follow animation that you have not seen yet here. Well, okay, so this game, this is Cultist Simulator. It is a narrative-based, card-based game thing that, yeah. So, well, before I start rambling on too much, let's begin the game. I have the Dancer DLC installed, but I have not had any look at it before, neither at video footage, not at anything. I have one completed playthrough of the base game, and one incomplete one, but there have been quite some updates in the meantime. So let's see. Oh, okay. Right. My save has been purged, so I begin as an aspirant, alone this chilly city with my useless education and my dreams. What now? Could it become something more? So let's first choose a name. Just gonna do the standard one. So in Cultist Simulator, you have this this playing field here, and you have verbs and you have other cards. In this case, it's menial employment, a precarious position at a hospital porter. Miserable, but it's all you can find for just now. So let's pull this card here and start working. Another shift, mopping the darkened hallways, delivering post to hollow-eyed invalids, trundling corpse-laden gurneys to the basement. So, and time management and time is a very big thing in this game. As you can see, things start ticking down. Halfway through a shift, the head porter beckons you aside. We won't require your services any longer, he says. Here, your last payment. We've paid you through the end of the month. I have lost my job. At least, now I have little time to rest if my health improves. Great. We're homeless now, but we have 2 monies. Yeah, right. So, what do we do with these? So, I'm going to put the verbs over here. So, what I'm gonna do is... Yeah, okay. I'm going to use my health to work. Backbreaking work is for meager pay. Is this the best I can do? Obviously it is not, but it is something at least. Because over time, we are going to lose money because we need to pay our upkeep. And if we can't pay our upkeep, we can't pay for food, can't pay for heating, we get sick. and we don't want that. So this here is the dream verb. I recall my dreams. It began when I spoke to the old man in the hospital. He knew my name, but he's dead now. The pneumonia. Why do I dream of him still? What is the cobalt light in my dreams? Time is now passing. This means basically that there's a ticker in this game that updates every I think it's a minute, and it produces events. And no, we won't be buying drugs just yet. That comes later. So I have contentment, which is all well and good, and I have passion. Passion is a character attribute as much as it is a currency. Dull minds are never intuitive or mathematical. So, this is new. What the hell? Oh, I love this. I love this. This seems to be something developers put in. This is where all new cards go. This was a big problem in the past. So, this is, I need funds to live, but perhaps this recent upset in my circumstances is a secret blessing. Is there something to my dreams? There's a change in the air. So, let us try to dream with passion. I know this dream. A road crests a hilltop and the air is silver bright. Okay. So, I need lore, which is something I do not have yet. So, this dream is useless to us. So, this is something that pops up every now and again. You can mostly ignore it when you use something. Okay. So, the day is done and so am I, but I've earned my pay. What I gain back from this is I get vitality, funds, and a fatigued health. The fatigued health has a timer on it that ticks down whenever, it ticks down, and when it's back, I can use it again. And this Course of the Heart is going to give me another vitality. If I had my... Oh, yeah, right. A bequest arrives. The old man has bequeathed me a sum of money and a packet of peculiar papers. Poetry, riddles, metaphysical speculations. For the first time in months, here's some fuel for my reason. So, what do we get? We get reason and a bequest. Sorry for the rapid pausing, unpausing. Meanwhile, our dreams happen. This specific dream does not do anything. So, I get exhausted passion from dreaming and glimmering, which will be useful later. I will explain that. In the display case of the Impossible Museum, I always see an apple white as snow and hard as marble, a golden beetle in a stern box, a coy geometry awaiting my touch, a black envelope bursting with spring, a brass opera box for instruments of record and measure, a storm in a tin. I always wake before I see the ale's end. So, I think... there it is. Before I study the bequest, I will first study vitality and more vitality. I'm a brim of vitality. If I devote some to exercise, I'll benefit. This will give us another unit of health. More health has the benefit of, well, not dying immediately if something bad happens. And you can also use it for other things. Additionally, this will give us... Hold on. Additionally, this will give us something that is called skill, a stronger physique. I have benefited from exercise. Okay. I can re-add my health here. Now I will study the bequest. I will use my reason. I'll examine each item with meticulous care. Yeah, meanwhile the glimmering is ticking out down there. You shouldn't worry about that. We will get more of these later, and right now we have no reason. No reason to use it. Alright. My correspondent describes my dreams exactly. They use names that are instantly familiar. The house, the wood, the hours, the glory. They knew secrets beneath time and the skin of the world. A new curiosity burns within me. There's a note here. Directions to a bookshop that does not advertise its wares. Okay, so we just get a lot of things. We have directions to Moorland, which is the bookshop. We have a Watchman's Secret, which is lore. We have Temptation Enlightenment, which will eventually turn into my win condition. And the notes on the contributor, this is how we get our first cult member. So what I'm going to do now, I'm going to work with, I think, reason. Yes, find clerical work. Find work which will spare my body, if not my mind. Glover and Glover have offered me a junior position. I start at 8 sharp tomorrow morning. This is my work now. I work at the... I don't know what company it exactly is, but... I will pull it... If I do not work regularly here, I will lose my job, so... Yeah. The scratching of pens, the sourness of dust, the sighting of the younger Glover, the greedy gurgling of the other. This, I can put reason here, but I don't have to. I should. Because this means I will sort of invest some extra effort into what I'm doing, and maybe they will notice that. And, well, long story short, it will lead to a promotion somewhere down the line. And this is time passes. This regularly sucks up money. Which is indicated by this magnet icon down here. And yeah, that's what it does. And this is why you have to keep working. I can dream with passion now. With the piece of lore I got. Right, I forgot to read this. A Watchman's Secret. It has been expressed like this. Each hour has its color, but color exists only where there is light. So there are these different aspects here, which mean different things. Here, for example, we have aspect lantern. Life is a pure flame and we live by an invisible sun within us. So, if I place the lore in here, this timer will tick down. At the same time, I will study the directions to Moorland's. The direction to Moorland's shop are cryptic. When one deals with the kind of books my correspondent studied, one must be circumspect. Okay, what do I give? Mr. Alden, the supervisor of records, has called me into his office to recognize my diligence. I watch the mole on his neck as he talks and talks and talks, but at the end of it I have a promotion. My new position is better paid, but the desk stands by the street window. But I work directly for Mr. Alden now. Mr. Alden is known to be exacting. Now we find ourselves in a very dicey position where our work times out in less than a minute and we have our reason times out in more than that. Well, let's just keep going to work. I'm better paid than I was, but Mr. Alden has taken an interest in me. Mr. Alden is very particular. Mr. Alden likes things to be done just so, and Mr. Alden has never believed that I'm qualified for this position. So, Mr. Alden is exactly this, an annoyance. Here's a thorn in my side. I may yet find a way to remove it. This gives me Moran's shop. An ill-lit street and an ill-favored bend in a lesser river. A soft yellow light through grimy windows. Miss Moreland nods as I enter, but doesn't rise. I never ask the names of my clients, she informs me, before I'd have time to introduce myself. This gives me Moreland's shop. I can use this with the explore verb to purchase literature. Now that I've found the location, I can explore it. which gives me another piece of lore, which is quite interesting. Also, let's see what our dreams have done in the meantime. Okay, apparently I cannot put that there. I could sleep in a room without colors, bleach the streets, whitewash the walls, dye my hair and paint my skin. Ah, that, yes. This takes our temptation and gives us restlessness, which will eventually turn to dread. If too much dread piles up, we start getting really depressed, and when you get 3 dread, you basically... I think it's implied that you commit suicide. So, color exists only where there is light, and the wood is the place where light does not walk. In the dream, I close my eyes and walk, stumbling, bruising my feet and knees. At last the undergrowth before me grows too thick to pass, and when I open my eyes, I'm adrift among black trees. Shadows flutter, my feet will know the way back to this place. And here I get my lore back. I get this thing. This will not be relevant for a long time. This is something that is called an influence. This will later be used in rituals that require these aspects. These do not last for very long, but they do help sometimes. I here gain restlessness. A restless longing has me. I feel I want to do something. What exactly? So my reason is back. Ah yeah. Work overtime at Mr. Alden's insistence. I do not believe that you have properly understood the importance of our work here. This task will require your full attention. So, fortunately our reason is back just in time for us to work overtime. So, what I can now do is, I can dream with the way the wood. And you can also click on these things, and cards that can go in there light up. I could try doing this, of course. If I have enough passion, I can walk the dream road to the wood. If I have the right knowledge, I might be able to find the way beyond it. So, if you use passion, we can do something here. And if you use a certain type of lore, then we can find a different path. This is not the lore, but I will dream with it anyways. So, I will go to Morland's shop and purchase a book. It takes time to sort the gold from the dross, the wheat from the chaff, the blood from the water. If I buy enough books, I will find something interesting. Here in the early game, you should not buy books at every time you can, because that will run you out of money. Later in the game, you will have a steady enough income to be able to just buy all the books you want. And at some point, Morlands will also be exhausted. On this occasion, I have determined that your work is of an acceptable standard. You may go. Be punctual tomorrow, please. So, let's start working right away again. Oh, what's this? This must be one of the new aspects of the new things they added in the update. Solitude. Sometimes, some days are better than others. Sometimes the sky is nothing like a filthy street. Sometimes the river runs clear. Oh, this gave me contentment. This is great. Because, as I said, this now decays into dread. I've seen too much. An aimless gnawing fear has its teeth in my hopes, an existential horror. Oh, this is interesting. This gives me a collection of essays, which I can use to improve my reason later. What we now must do is get rid of this dread. You can do this either by buying some opiates, the drugs I described earlier, or alternatively, you can counter it with contentment. I dreamt of opening doors, red doors, and the gold door... gold doors and doors of glass, and doors behind books, and railway carriage doors, and castle gates. Behind one, there was something I seek. I woke with the slamming of doors in my ears. Oh, I probably should not have done that, because that gave me another restlessness. So, I can put dread here, and restlessness to counter it out. Yeah, and this is exactly what I was talking about. This is bleak thoughts. This creeps up every once in a while and sucks up any dread on the field. Yeah, when it reaches 3 dread, it's game over. 1 dread. Oh my god, this will time out just before it returns. Oh, I may have missed the overtime. Yeah, that is something that happens very often in this game, that you just... Yep. That you just miss things and... Yeah. You get shafted for it. This is... huh. This used to time out quicker. Huh. Okay. So what we will do now is... Purchase a tincture of opium. In times of a special crisis, I might visit the discreet pharmacist to purchase a tincture of opium and make my dreams sweet, but only in times of a special crisis. Which this very much is, since another dread means we're done for. Okay, gives me contentment, which will time out in a minute, which will be fast enough to be sucked up by that. I will give this reason as I should, and yeah, I won't buy any more books for now, because right now I'm burning my funds on regaining my sanity. And there's another restlessness coming in. This is just great. Really great. This is... this gives me something. Oh, yeah, this is still acceptable. Right. This is sickness. I've become unwell. If your illness cannot consume health, it will kill you. What have I here? Ah, glimmering. That's interesting. This might be worth to study. Yeah, glimmering is basically how you increase your stats. In this case, this is the way you increase your passion. Just as I did with my health earlier, I will do now with my passion. And I will purchase more drugs. Wait, later. I just need to wait for this to time out and the dread to be absorbed again. So this here is... This is how we get an investigator in our tale. Which can happen quite... Which is quite... bad if you're doing cultist things, which we aren't doing right now, so we will not get an investigator. So, the affliction can be treated with money or vitality, but we do not have any vitality on hand right now, and I would like to get this whole situation dealt with quite quickly. Oh, okay. So, yeah. Because we neutralized all of the dread, we do not need to buy more opium. Because this resolves this verb, and this dread will hopefully just time out. If it doesn't, well, that sucks, but there's nothing to be done about it. The tigers of wrath are wiser than the horses of instruction. If I spend time studying what I've learned, I could increase my passion and gain a skill. As I said, I have not played this game in over half a year, actually. I played it, I think, when it came out. I'm actually quite mad that I slept on Perpetual Edition. If I had known Perpetual Edition was a thing, then I would have bought that one. For those that don't know, Perpetual Edition is basically free DLC. It's basically a version that gets all future DLC included indefinitely. And I would have really liked that. Then again, the Dancer DLC is not expensive. It's really not. Alright, I got my health back, and I have the Cores of the Heart, which will give me another vitality, so that's something to look out for. I now have a Vivid Imagination, which I can use for painting, but will not use for painting yet. And another Passion. Okay, let's see. If I want to... Oh. Okay. I will study my health, which basically means you exercise. And that way I will gain another vitality. Another one because this is the first vitality here. I think we're in the clear now, so we can buy another book. And this wants my reason. Also, by the way, since this is my first stream, if there are any audio issues, something's too loud, too quiet, just tell me and I will sort it out. So, I can now study my vitality. Oh, wait. Ah. Wait. How do you do this? This is new. Wait. Do I... Wait a minute. Do I... Yes! I do. I just study my vitality. Ah. Oh, I study multiple vitality. This is interesting. They changed this. When I last played, you would just cram vitality in there until, well, until whenever, and you'd get your stuff. Yes, we can found a cult and attempt to kill Mr. Alden, but sometimes he just goes away on his own. I much prefer it that way, because that means I can go for longer without getting an investigator on my back, and that's really annoying. So we get the locksmith. We get the Locksmith's Dream, A Light Through the Keyhole, the first volume of Teresa Gamier's examination of parallels in the mystic dreams of artisans. So once we're done studying our vitality, we can shift our studies to this book. I think if I... Yes, this one's Passion. Let's see. Now I pass between the star-barked trees. The moon passes behind the branches. Through her fingers... Though her fingers remain in my hair. I'm stumbling over roots now. It's tempting to drop to all fours to avoid the low branches. Pale wings move deep in the night. See, there's this investigator. Trying again, but doesn't do anything. Also, by the way, if you click on this time passing thing... Actually, it's not while it sucks up money, it's between those. Vitality, a lesson learned, which lasts for 5 minutes, which means I can study health again. Well, that's also the thing about Cultist Simulator. The early game is quite slow, it's a lot of waiting and... just generally yeah, slow as I said. What this here is now is, this is the mansis. It's very hard to describe. It's also very abstract. I'm not very well versed in the lore of this game. I know some of the basics, but yeah. This is the world of dreams, basically. And I'm down here in the wood. I have the ability to either pick out this peculiar rumor or one of these hidden cards. I'm going to choose the upper hidden one, which is not very useful to me. It's an influence, and I do not have a use for Grail right now. The important thing you get out of these dreams is the secret histories lore. Because in this world there has not been one history, but many in fact, and some of those happened, some of those didn't. Some of them happened partially. It's complex. Okay, so I get my health back and another vitality. So let's study health again. Yes, just the usual work thing. And just keep buying books. This here is the counterpart to Dread. This is Fascination, which basically means if you're too fascinated with something, you go mad and you become unable to pursue your dreams anymore, and that's the second lost condition. Okay, what did I get here? The Humors of a Gentleman, which is Samuel Savage's satirical comedy of the intrigues of the ailing but cunning John Stone, his mistress Madeline, her lover Leo, and the upstart Corvio. Well, let's go for another book, shall we? I don't know, wait. I need to study... wait, what? That's a lesson learned. Oh, I grabbed the wrong thing. Okay. Let's wait for this to complete. Ah yeah, Mr. Alden needs my attention again. Mr. Alden always needs my attention. Hate that guy. De Horis, in Latin, a 19th century reprint of a 14th century Latin translation of a 4th century work. But I don't know any Latin. How could I read this book? Well, the answer is, I need to learn Latin first. And how do I do that, you ask? Well, the answer is the same as to most problems in Cultist Simulator. Buy more books. Okay, keep working. Sadly, working cannot be resolved by buying more books, which is very tragic. Okay, now let's improve our physique. There are 3 levels to each skill. And we are ascending our skill to the 2nd level now. I will see if I can't just quickly get up to the 3rd skill, but let's see. On what is contained by silver, bestiary by Pomander in Greek. Greek is another one of those languages, and yes, there will be a lot more languages coming up in the future. Next to real languages, there are also very other languages. Ones that actually should be left unspoken, but that's what we're all about, you know? Speaking the unspeakable, looking at the unknowable. That's what Cultist Simulator is all about. So, I gain another health. The machine, my body, ripples with power. I gain skill a hardened physique. You might not know it to look at me, but I have grown strong as a smith or a soldier. Let's see how many I need. Oh, I only need 3, huh? I don't think I can do that. I don't think I can get up to that by just studying health. I think I need to work with health and study health at the same time. Which I will do after I have amassed a bit more money, so I should maybe stop buying books for now. This here book is Kittling Ripe of the Mollywarp's Grave and Other Stories, a lusciously illustrated tome of loosely connected children's stories collected by one N.K. Field. Few of them are remotely suitable for children. Alright, I will now start studying this book. The protagonist, a speechless cat thing called Kittling Ripe, performs a series of elaborate rites to rescue the member of her extended family, culminating in the resurrection of her other grandmother. This is actually what I love about this game. The writing and the fact that you just have this table, but all the lore is told through everything, just yeah. And all this talking is making my mouth a bit dry. Good thing I have a bit of water here. Just that was a bad idea. I should probably pause it while I drink. Alright, that's better. Okay. What did I get out of that? When the snake witch killed the stag, Kittling snatched one of its eyes. When the dry witch killed the sow, Kittling stole a cup of its blood. Then she took them to the place Mollywarp lay buried, and she took out her hair and she began to dance. This is a new one, I think. This is one from the Dancer DLC. And I get a new flavor of lore, which is moth. Lie awake and listen. The wind speaks in the branches. The house cries out in its sleep. These are the roads that chaos rides. Speak this over a corpse in the right, with the winter influence present, and the corpse will rise. This is a tip for the rituals that you can get. And I believe if I dreamed with the wood and moth, and 4 moth, I can advance my my forays into the house. Okay, next we will read the Locksmith's Dream. The parallels and mystic dreams experienced by carpenters, masons, and other artisans, and what they purport to reveal about the architecture of the world. Sometimes mordant, sometimes funny. No one has ever explained why Golmir devoted himself to this quixotic exploration of artisans' dreams. Oh great, we're sick again. Also, once if you get sickness and it times out... Oh, talking of timing out, I almost got demoted there while talking. Speaking of timing out, yeah, when it times out, Brain, don't do this to me. When it times out, it turns into decrepitude, which is basically, yeah, wasted health. There is a ritual with which you can convert decrepitude back into health, but it's better just to treat it normally. Time and time again we hear of the wood, which rises from the world's foundation. All trees reach for light. What does the wood reach for? Is there a difference between light and light? I think the key to dreams of the wood might be one of these. The one that isn't exactly real. Okay, no, it was not moth. It might have been a higher magnitude of lantern. Speaking of which, since we have erudition right here, I can also now study my passion and maybe get a, what's this? Tristans and dilutes. If I had a particular friend, now is the time to renew our connection. Ah, right. Because they, in the meantime, they added the ability for you to romance your cult followers, I think. And that would be the thing that triggers an encounter, so to speak, I suppose. So, okay, keep working. I'm just waiting for my studies here to stop. Now, what I can try is combine 2 second order influences of the Watchman's Secret and turn it into a 4th order influence of Lantern. I can also take other lores and convert them. So I do not have to study Lantern with Lantern. I can study Lantern with something else and it would turn into that other thing. I don't quite remember which one. There is a whole chart out there. Okay. I get my health back, and there's a proverb on the practitioners of the invisible arts. Glory visits the house without walls. I would like to know about glory. Okay, so this is going to start ticking down, and it will require either erudition or glimmering. Oh, okay. Or reason, I suppose, and which it snatched right out of my overtime. Well, guess we're not getting paid in full today. And the more of these demands you can successfully fulfill, the more of a chance you have to combine these 2 lores. And great, it wants my reason another time, which I cannot provide it. We might still get lucky though. Well, let's see. Oh, we did get lucky. We now obtained a 4th order influence of Lantern. A snatch of poetry, a single memory of a certain house that all of us visit at least twice in our lives. For one's first visit to Mantis, this lore is almost essential. Ah, I think this is what implies that we may be able to use this. There is a house in the wood. I know something of that house. Enough to find my way to its light. Let's see. I should probably study this. By the end of the first act, Madeline has revealed a secret door in the walls of the house to Leo, and Corvair has taken to consuming worms. Okay, my reason will be back in time to satisfy Mr. Alden's demand for overtime. Yes! These are the bounds about the house, with their mists and their traces. This is the rock called the Temple of the Wheel, high as a church spire, padded with black lichen and daubed with eye signs. Around it, and there ahead of me, is the white door. The lights of the house leaks around its edges. This is now another thing we can dream about. Let's go there. What does it need? I can put my temptation in there. The ascent is slow, winds from nowhere pluck at me. My skin is stained with light. The wood shivers in motion, far below. Oh, I got myself some contentment. That's nice. I maybe will be able to eliminate the dread quickly, but I don't think I need to do that because the dread will time out anyways. Okay, still here. And I gained. The play is scabrous and occasionally hilarious. The characters are contrary and capricious. Many of the more resonant lines might well be formulae of power disguised in plain sight. So, yes, we get another bit of lantern lore. Oh, great. The contentment is going to time out just right as my dread is snatched. That's just great. Alright. The stag door. A rich barrier of blood-streaked horn, huge enough for ships to pass. It was broken long ago, and even now the scars are not quite healed. In a declivity beside the door rests a vast mooned golden head. Its mouth would be large enough to swallow me, were its jaws not shattered. It is the name, Givy. It begins to intone its riddle. I think this is, yeah, if we want to proceed further, we need to answer the stag door's riddle. But we can also dream with health here. Oh, thanks for contentment. Hello. Okay, thank you. I want to read what it says. This. Now I can approach the white door through the bounds. Now I can press my fingers to it, feel its chill, watch it swing open. As it opens, my mouth closes, tightens, heals over like a lost deformity. Around me is the cobalt light of the mantis. This takes us to this screen again. I can take restlessness, which I should not do, but this guarantees me, I think, that none of these two is restlessness, which is good. Okay. This is another influence that I don't really... yeah, that I can't really use as it stands. I wonder... Ah, that is not the answer. Gary has fallen very far. It may not enter the house, and one of its satisfaction is to deny entry. It has too much honor to mock me, but I see satisfaction in its golden eyes. That is not, it says, the answer. Is it lantern? Oh. I don't quite remember what the answer was. Wait, I think I know what it is. I don't have that lore yet. Talking about lore, let's buy some more books. I perhaps should not be buying this many books because I am saving up for a section of time where I improve my reason so that I have another reason that I can spare. Huh, this I can do. Collection of poetry. Ah, okay. This also requires lessons learned now. So I suppose I just need to get studying. Ah, there it is. Fascination. Now I can slough my flesh patch by patch, hugging the tendons free like fibers from my picked from teeth. My skin lies in a shredded blanket. The sun heaves itself above the horizon with a triumphant battle yell. The light falls like acid on my naked bones. Pain wakes me. My bones will throb for days. This is fascination. As I said, this is the other lost condition. It's quite easily countered. You can neutralize it with restlessness. Or rather with with dread. Study passion again. I think it's time to pursue... Where is it? Notes on a possible collaborator. Wait, no, I need to study these as well. Oh, something gave me fascination. That's less good. Wait, which of these times out earlier? Okay. So I can combine dread and fascination to neutralize them. Also, I love this text that fascination has. Light leaks through the cracks. My mind is brighter than it ever was. The higher I rise, the more I see. That's basically what it says. And I require... I really like that they do the lessons learned thing now, because before you used to require 2, then 4, then 6 of each stat fragment, I suppose. Ah. I think Mr. Alden is gone. I need... Oh god. This is going to be very narrow, because I need to have my reason ready. Okay. Curl my hands into correct shapes and begin. Ah, this is a minor victory condition. If you put passion in there, you just get a minor victory, but it's basically a victory. You keep working your entire life at Glover and Glover, you earn yourself a nice pension, you grow old, but you always wonder, wasn't there something more I could have done? And trust me when I say we are going to do this more. Oh, thanks for the restlessness, I guess. Which is quite welcome. Oh! What do these do now? Do these counter out the... Do these counter out fascination now? They do. That's good. Okay, I guess that that decreases my overall reliance on always having dread present if things crop up. See, I have a senior position at Glover and Glover now, and I will earn myself a demotion right soon, because because I will let this time out, because these have the same timer. I need a second reason. Yeah, difficulty at work demotion, which is fine. If you don't get sick and don't need to buy yourself some... Actually, you know what you can do in the you know what I can do in the meantime? I can work with my physique. Because I have grown so strong, I cannot be injured by menial labor, which is quite nice. And that way I also save myself the money I save myself the money. This is very scary, by the way, having so much dread on the field at the same time. But what I can do now is... Oh, wait. Huh. Okay. Where's my other lesson learned? Ah, and I get money as well as some vitality. I can now get my affliction and put vitality in there, so I'm cured. Yeah, that's just a bit of waiting to do right now. Ah, there's my second lesson. Ah. Oh! Ah, it gives me a lesson learned. I did not realize that. That's handy. Yeah, I should probably have read that better. That would have been a good idea. And I'm going to get my health back. So, yeah, I'm actually kind of running out of things to say. Because all I'm really doing is narrating along with what I'm doing. So now I have a wild imagination. Which allows me to paint more. Paint better. But what I should do now is study my reason twice in order to oh, that's good. Study with my reason twice in order to gain another reason, which will enable me to do this job, because the job times out just as quickly as the reason times out, which naturally means that I cannot keep consistently doing this job. I also wonder what the skill for reason is now, because there is now one. There didn't used to be one that when I first played. So let's see. This requires passion. Passion, I said. This is not a pleasant conversation, but it may be a necessary one. This basically means that I think I started a rank below, but since Mr. Allen is gone, that really does not matter. And within one workday, I will return. Will return to my senior position. Now here I could put in a second one, which I won't do for now. Because I can't do, because I don't have it yet. So, what do I get now? Ah, right, I mean you did have the scholarship skill, but you couldn't do anything. I'm flush with clever quotations, okay. Okay, let's put this here. What can I... Yeah, okay, this requires 2 of those. So, I have my reason now. So, if I put in devotion, I put in extra hours, which will not naturally earn me more money. But I still don't have it. Oh no, right, that's the condition for the promotion. I remember now. And the younger Glover has taken me out for lunch at his club. I am to do more of the things I do, more carefully. In return, he will give me a little more of the money I earned for his father. Oh, that's great. This is this is great. I need another one of these, huh? I didn't plan this well. Let's just say that. I may well run out of money here. Well, let's get back to this. So, got my job back, and with one reason for now, so I can use the other one to gain more erudition, to gain more lessons learned, to gain more. I have one dread in there right now. I better get rid of that with drugs. Because, as you know, drugs are, next to buying more books, drugs are the solution for everything. Oh. Oh. That gives me free contentment. I should not have done that. I did not remember that. And this will give me restlessness, which will not time out in time. Ah, okay. Yeah, this is basically just a delay, so I can't go to work all the time while I'm studying this. So, yeah. This is going well, I guess. The stream, I mean. This is actually... Yeah, as I said, this is my first stream, and... I do not expect much, of course. I suppose I'm gonna have to spend money on this. So... let's see where the stream leads me. Alright, so we will now need to study our reason more so that we may maybe be able to work at Glover and Glover all the time and refill the money we lost during our not working spree, or unemployment as people really should call it. Or as I should call it, and people call it commonly. I got those proverbs mixed together. And wow, I'm really stumbling over my words today. This really is one of the slower starts I have had in Cultist Simulator. Which is probably very unfit for a stream, but I don't know. This gives me 2 monies all each time. I think I can... Okay. Whoops, did not mean to zoom out there. So... yeah. Let's improve our scholarship. Knowledge is a city wall built stone by stone, but what waits in the darkness beyond the walls? Why would we need a fortress except that we had something to fear? Philosophical. Also drugs. Because this will keep ticking. It's frustrating. I didn't see that there was a a thing there. And I wasted money on drugs again. Actually, no, just one again. It only has happened once. Huh, notable scholarship. I have learned enough to know how little I know. Wow. Philosophical right there. Okay. Now let's plug this reason into here. And see where it leads us. I think once we have our senior positioned properly, we can just keep 2 reason at the side here and always work with these. Or 1 reason, I think. Yeah. No, right, 2 reasons because we need to alternate between them. And I think I will go ahead and improve my reason to the 3rd level. Okay, yeah, this is... You know, I always just later on when we have a headquarters for a cult, and indeed even a cult, because right now we're just one dude studying occult things, and not even really. We're just one dude working on things. So I just imagine this cult, and once we max out our physique skill, I just imagine this really buff dude walking around the cult HQ as the leader. I don't know why, but it's quite funny to me. Whoops, I can still salvage this, I think. And I will require more drugs, because there's another restlessness creeping up, and it's very probable that I will have... Oh, okay, the fascination thing came up before. Also, you know, I click on it in the wrong time always. But let's wait for this restlessness to time out and neutralize the one with the longest timer. Okay, I will study the 2 erudition with the lowest timers. Say Mary, are you still here? Write something in chat, please. Just checking. It's still acceptance, so not something we have. Or we want. Alright, you're still here. That's good at least. Study another round of reason, which will give us our 2nd lesson learned, and the 3rd one we're going to get from our collection of essays. Whoops. Did not mean to do that. All right. And since we have a very stable income right now, I think it gives us 3 funds each time we work, every 70 seconds. And this is more than enough to sustain us. By the way, I should maybe start buying some books again. Also, this reason I can now move here, because that's the free reason, that's not bound by the job. My health is also back. Ah, Traveling at Night Volume 1. That's a very old one. The Annotated Dream Journals of Christopher Elapoli, sometimes called the only readable occultist. Literate, entertaining, bewildering. Let's get more books. I mean, of course, it will drain your funds if you just buy books on cooldown, but that's to be expected. Okay. 1, 2, 3. Wisest. Ah, the 6 letters of necessity. Warnings and confessions about the cause of invisible arts, addressed to a student by a 17th century magus and reputed immortal, Julian Cosley. More books. This is where the interesting part starts. When you can start buying books, studying lore, founding your cult, which we still have not done yet. Okay, what does this give us? The Queens of the Rivers. I recognize this one as well. A surreal contemporary play by enigmatic Monica Medina in which the Queens of the River are murdered, one by one. Actually, I think I should put the books in other languages down there until we can properly study them. Skill, a profound scholarship. My mind is a paradise of mirrors in which all things are clear, even those that I might prefer not to see. My skull creaks at the corners of knowledge I've acquired. Galaxy Brain achieved. Oh, there's another level. Then again, I don't think there is another level here, but rather you can use this to gain more reason infinitely. Whoops, no, I did not mean that. This is what I meant to do. Okay, time to start studying. The Queen of the Visitor is poisoned. The Queen of the Dnieper chokes in a fishhook. The Queen of the Tagus is burned alive. And studying these will also give us more lore. Oh good, dread. Yeah, I mean my general rule of thumb, if you have 2 or more resistance and or dread on the board, you should probably start buying drugs. The cult, it transpires, is the audience. The surviving queens are directed to execute whatever audience members do not escape. A surprisingly lucid epilogue suggests that the correspondence of river names with historical events does provide clues to secret histories behind our own, which gives us another secret history's lore. Cultist's tone is urgent, as if he suspected he might have little time left. Which is quite strange for a reputed immortal, don't you think? Ooh, there's that book, which is... That book, and by that book I mean Kühne und Ders ausführliche Grammatik der griechischen Sprache. A Greek grammar, an essential weapon for ferocious struggle with challenging language. Once this time's out, I can study this to teach myself Greek, which allows me to translate the book and then read the book, because I have a few people, I know them who did Latin in school, and from what they told me, you can't properly read whatever you're translating, at least not comprehensively. So you need to translate it first and then study it in detail. So, Apollo of Marseilles. The libretto of a lost opera concerning the contrast between Apollo and Marseilles, a tragic outcome. The librettist is identified only by the initials R, K, N, J, L, which is a pretty long name. Okay, let's eliminate this new dread with contentment. Glimmering. Oh, a smith's secret. This is another type of lore, which is forge. Forge is fire, I once read, is the winter that warms and the spring that consumes. Right, I have not read what this is actually. I knew a man who captured moths in a bell jar. On nights like this, he would release them one by one to die in a candle. My first victory was using this forge lore. There are, I think, 5 victories of lore now and the dancer victory. I do not know which one I will be going for over the course of this stream and the coming streams. Also, if you like what you see in this stream and are able to put up with me being new to the whole streaming thing, I invite you to join me again. I next will probably be streaming on Friday. Maybe a bit earlier, maybe at the same time. Alright, let's study Greek. Of course I have a little Greek already, but I'll need more than a little. I do not have Greek. Maybe some words, but no full understanding of Greek. As you know, there is also this annoyance here. This, if I were to, this annoyance does not go away. You have to, basically you have to murder someone to rise even higher. But if you rise higher, that does not come without dangers. Namely, you may permanently lose your job if you are caught doing too many unsavory things. This is Greek, yes. So, I can study this and translate the text. The translated texts do not have, I mean, the translation does not have any special lore associated with it. So, I am free to just skip that. More books, by the way. On what is consumed by silver. A dire bestiary of the horrors to be found in mirrors. This is a recent edition of a 3rd century text by Pomander. And this is the one I can study now. Okay. Huh. Curious. It says that in both. Normally those texts are different. I can put my Greek scholarship down here now. What have we here now? This is, I think, another Secret Histories book. The War of the Roads, 1450 to 5080, censored edition. Willis Ford describes the War of the Road, an event in the history other than our own, in detail, but numerous pages have been removed. The name of the publisher is blacked out, and an ominous slip is stapled to a cover that explains that Willis Ford has been excised. Alright. The virgins/maidens of the mirror favor orchids. The behindlings favor the rhododendron. Cut flowers of either nature should not be placed before polished bronze. An appendix contains a rite which might be used to summon some of these entities, although the details of its use are not made clear. This is our first rite. We can use this to do things. The rites themselves do not change the outcome. How you do them is the outcome, what aspects you feed them. The rites only determine what is lost, what is required, and what is kept. There are some rites that require an assistant. Some of these rites kill the assistant. This rite recalls the loss of the watchman who walks the house which has no walls. Light goes before him, the shadow behind, he must not see you. The instrument of power is used to summon him to take his sacrifice. Precious knowledge... I would appreciate if you not did that. Precious knowledge from the root of your thoughts. The assistant must speak the words that anchor your sanity, so choose someone you trust. What's this? Ooh. Guardside Sanskrit reader. A lucid book which outlines a careful path through a thicket of a vast and complex language. Let's study that. There are also books in Sanskrit, which is, of course, one of the languages you can learn here. It's quite unusual to find the translation before finding a book, but then again, Sanskrit books are usually found in expeditions, which I will be getting into later, or rather, my followers will be, because that's what you have them for, to send them into dangerous situations, to probably or possibly never return, or be turned to a state where you would not like them to return. On the white, Solomon Husher writes, perhaps allegorically, of winter and its long, slow, doomed romance with the sun. The epigraph is sunset at noon. So, now, finally, I'm going to study these notes on a potential collaborator. I have a name, a description, a few tantalizing details, but there are thousands of faces in the city. Also, something that I probably have forgot to say. In this world, the occult is illegal, so... Hope. I'm about to become a criminal. Not quite, but, well, now I have an address. I'll dispatch a letter and propose a meeting. Talk is unlocked. Mystique, uncanniness lingers. This may attract the attention of hunters, but they can't use it to build a case against me. I also now have the talk verb, which forces me to move my languages. I await answer to a letter. And I think we will now have our first hunter on our tail, because now someone is meddling. Because we have Mystique, This means that someone is going to be investigating into us quite soon. Let's see who. There's always someone who doesn't understand, or who understands too well. This troublemaker may seek evidence on my activities to share with the authorities. We're a detective. Yes, that's the best one. For me, that is. This gentleman would rather be left alone with his pipe and illustrate London news, but no, apparently some conjurer of abominations has to be hunted down like a mad dog, and apparently no one else can find the time. He'll just stay right over here. Normally hunters have other aspects like meticulous, which means if you just have a little bit of notoriety, they will build a case against you. Or things like tenacious, which means you can't kill them that easily. Or things that mean they're immune to certain ways of you getting rid of them. But why would I get rid of this guy? This guy stays forever. This guy is going to be our dear friend through the entire game. And, well, things may work out well for him, because I do not intend to get as far as build a case against me. So, the reply to your letter is courageous if cautious. They are intrigued by how you found their name, intrigued enough to meet you. A hanger-on. This is one of the unnamed followers. Also, there is a limited amount of followers you can recruit or get per run, so it is not advised that you use them all too recklessly. A little bit recklessly perhaps, but not all too recklessly, because you can't really get those back. And you might have to resort to hiring some mercenaries, which of course cost money. And devoted followers are free, of course. What I can do now is I can talk publicly of something. Talking publicly about the invisible arts will attract attention. Perhaps that's what I want. This will not give me notoriety, but this will give me mystique. So, basically, just talking about the invisible arts is not a crime in itself. I do believe free speech is still in effect in this world. So, but actually practicing them, that's illegal. Also, books. I'm also going to read this. On close investigation, the work seems to be a theory of aesthetics, or perhaps a set of warnings about the dangers of painting. One such danger of painting is that, well, it attracts the wrong kind of attention, like the attention of this dude, if your paintings show the wrong thing. Ah, nice, a collection of poetry. I'm going to be hanging on to this. And more books. The answer is always more books. The first time around I played this game, I really did take my time with everything. In the end, I was sitting on, I don't know, 200 funds. Which is a good thing, because once you're in the end game, you will discover that this verb is also used for things like rituals. So you can't really go to work while doing a ritual. Which makes sense. Husher writes distractedly of his hatred of colors and his yearning for death. He hints at a great work he has envisaged and begun where the palest of paintings will enthrall the world. He returns again and again to certain compelling phrases which he claims to are the secret words of winter. This gives us a new type of lore, winter. Certain knowledge, it is said, can only be expressed only through the particular quality of a silence. It has been suggested that one can only read such knowledge with one's eyes closed, but only by mischievous commenters. This is the description of winter. Silence. Winter is the principle of silence, of endings, and of those things that are not quite dead. There is a quite fun ritual that involves winter. What it does is it simply kills a random mortal on the board. See this guy? He's mortal. See this guy? Mortal. Me? I don't count. But that ritual is not very useful once you have like 15 followers and 1 detective. The Orc Transfigurations Volume 1, a 16th century alchemical fever dream attributed to Robert Flood, frequently banned for disturbing allure in its illustrations. This is in the original Latin, which I cannot read yet. Join the club. Oh. Come with me. Huh. See, this gives us acquaintances. Slee, an acquaintance. Craig Slee, the astronomer and avant-garde poet, has developed an interest in the esoteric as his health wanes. I will not found a cult yet, because you must found a cult with a certain founding principle. And the one I want, I have not found yet. In the original myth, Marsyas lost the musical contest and was flayed by Apollo, who later regretted it. In this version, Marsyas' kin has a further history. And yeah, I am buying more books. I will also continue speaking about esoteric matters in public. And this guy can't do anything about it. Wrapped in the King. Detailed accounts by... Ah, that's a typo right there. Nye James Colin Murphy of Secret Brachial... I don't know how to pronounce that. Bacchanals? And ecstatic dances observed in necropolises and graveyards in southern Europe, in Egypt and in Anatolia. The author is a self-confessed ghoul and eater of buried flesh. He claims to have witnessed the dances while at his feasting. This is a... Anything that mentions dances is, big surprise, part of the Dancer DLC. Which I don't think I will delve in quite yet. I might not. It depends. Where did my... Ah. But there it is. But I've also read that there is now a victory involving heart. And I would like to try that out. Heart is... I like the heart aspect, as it is. I also like Forge, because Forge was my first victory. The skin of Marsyas gives oracles and is later smuggled to Phrygia, where the priestess of Cybele used it for a drumhead. At the opera's climax, the pounding of the drum drives would-be violators of the priestess to a suicidal madness. The opera ends with a wistful hymn for the youngest priestess on the beauty of mountain pines. There are common sentiments in every thunderclap. Let us acknowledge them. The heart relentless beats to protect the skin of the world we understand. Also, more books. I am not overusing that phrase, right? In this past, a score of more of longs were made. They brokered a peace with the Forge of Days, long enough to set England on the path of early conquest and eventual destruction. The Forge itself devoured the greatest among them. But I do wonder what the hard victory is. Speaking of which, I can dream on my temptation. I think if I use what does it need? Can I? Huh. I hope this doesn't lock it in. Pretty sure I pressed... Oh, that's dimmed. I see. I need to put that there so it puts it back there when it expires and saves me a bit of work. I wonder if that locks it in, or... I think that should redirect my temptation. I think with passion I can lock it in. This is another one of these random occurrences whenever a certain aspect is invoked that just gives me an influence or something. The royalty of England, according to Willisford, became the sovereigns of the leashed flame, destroying or transforming the enemies, conquering Europe, establishing grand cathedrals to Saint Spark. The allegiance of the Forge begins to take its toll. The last few chapters are missing entirely. This is another alternative or... Ah. That's good. Cultist leaves Latin grammar. Just what you need to refresh your knowledge of Latin. Let's do that. I recall a certain amount from my school days, but I need to brush up. Ah. Madame Bichet. She is not someone we can recruit, but she is a patron. That's what it's called? Yes. Madame Bichet edits at the Gersham Review, which publishes material too ghastly or thrilling for other literary magazines. She could use her assistance. We will sit her over here because we will not be able to use patrons for a long time. Because patrons request certain lores, which incidentally also use, and these lores we need to transcribe, which incidentally also uses the work tab. There is a very special patron who can give us a sum of money if we give her a sacrifice. Okay, so what do I need to put here? Health. What does this do? Wait, does this just go in the two different directions? I will just keep cycling through that and see where it takes me, because I honestly do not remember. They may also have changed something in the meantime on how the things work. And meanwhile, our poor detective over here is just slaving through all the things we have said in public and desperately trying to find something incriminating because no one else will do it, and yeah, he's not gonna find anything. At least not just yet. I can start translating books now. I will translate the Horus first. Okay, this is Temptation Sensation. I wonder if I can... Huh. I wonder. I heard that they... May. Huh. I'll keep it as sensation then for now, until I get a stronger heart. Heart lore. I am not really aware of how to get these two new victories, because from what I've read, there is now a moth victory and a heart victory. And as said, I would like to go after the heart victory. Okay. Let's translate the other book. What is Dehorus now? An occasional coherent catalogue of the secret gods. This is an English translation of a volume dealing with the powers of the wood. Suppose I'll keep this here. This is the temptation associated with the Grail aspect. Enlightenment is the one associated with Lantern, and Power is the one associated with Forge. Ah, Laidlaw. That's another one. Laidlaw is a tinkerer and a mechanic with an uncanny knack. I should maybe organize these in 2 rows. Maybe down here. For now, so that my lore doesn't grow into them. And our weary detective is back. Disappointed. Angry, perhaps. But, well, we just haven't done anything yet. The Orchid Transfigurations, the first volume of a compilation of quasi-Rosicrucian allegories, supposedly by Robert Flood. This is a later English translation. Let's read it. And let's buy more books. There's also a quite funny thing that that you get if you keep going to the shop, even once the pool of books is exhausted. It's quite funny. It's something deep mysteries, and yes, it says it exactly like that. Oh, I'm not too mad. I can neutralize this dread with discontentment. Okay, and the other contentment is gonna time out. Great. I really need to start paying attention to the other tickers that are on screen. We must devour to be devoured. We cannot be undevoured, as we cannot be unborn. This is Grail. Some words are spelled correctly only when the proper ink is used. Hunger, lust, the drowning waters. Let us study this one. And more books. Our talk verb will be occupied for quite some time now, because there are a lot of recruits to chew through. Oh, the Orchid Transfigurations Volume 2. Also in Latin. A 16th century alchemical fever dream. Okay. This is the same text as it was before. Oh, it's right, it says it down here. The season of sickness. This is the thing that will come up next. So you can use that to to sort of get a small look into the future. Also, I had health. Oh, it's up there. Wait, do you mean I will get another? Another sickness? Wow, that's harsh. The glory is a question and the moth always answers yes. The black flax's answer is no, and that is always answered. This is our hint to take that moth, or in this case a 6th order influence of moth, is what we should use to answer the stag doors riddle. Because, well, yes. I think there's also another possibility with another lore, in which we just... that might just be Lantern. In which we just answer all possible answers. Which might also be Moth. I don't quite remember which of those it was. The skeleton songs. I did not want to move those. Tomes of greedy delight composed by the possibly mouth, please pronounce it correctly. Pseudonymous, I think. Arabella Dusk. The rumored heiress turned madam turned poetess. These skeleton songs, are they perchance spooky or scary? Perhaps even both? Alright. I should actually be dreaming. I really should be dreaming. I shouldn't be dreaming because I just got sick. I should be paying attention instead. Okay, what comes next? Okay, we're safe for now. This will time out before the next thing happens. Oh, a collection of essays. That's nice. Right, before these collections of essays used to give you basically free stat points, which they do not do anymore. But honestly, anything above 3 or 4 stat points was just too much anyways. The 26 delightful fruits, the 7... Oh wait, I think I forgot to read the first one, yes. In Arabella's introduction she explains that the book was to be illustrated, but the Suppression Bureau would not permit it. She hints that the illustration still exists somewhere. The book is dedicated to Sir Percival of the Red Cup. The Suppression Bureau is the department, I suppose, that's dedicated to... it's basically the fun police for occultists. That's what they are. The 26 delightful fruits, the 7 chastisements, the 9 gardens, the 4 regrets. We get another Grail secret. It's time to translate the Orca Transfigurations Part 2. And buy more books. Always. We should... Yup. We get... Ooh, that's good. A Forgotten Chronicle. That's a 6th order for Secret Histories lore, which is, well, it's useful. These can be used with the Explore in order to gain places, which you can then send your cultists to, and, well, let them explore. So, an introduction to history is almost secret histories. The 17th century mystic and antiquarian Claude Herzog describes divergent incidents in 5 major histories. Alright. We cannot study this now, but we can buy more. And we should perhaps treat our illness. I could have used Vitality for this, but again, I did not look. It's hard enough to stream and talk and... yeah. The second volume of a compilation of quasi-Rosicrucian allegories, supposedly by... yeah, we have read this first part of the description already. Flood or pseudo-flood suggests alignments between the alchemical tradition of Rubido and the older Grail traditions, though the Pine Knight's quest... through the Pine Knight's quest for the Cinnabar Cup. What book did we get? The Victory of Crowns. Erratic accounts by one Aaron of the hunting and consumption of supposed immortals by shadowy cults of assassins, published in the late 19th century. Ooh, I want that. That's a new aspect. Okay, got my health back, and I should really be dreaming again. Until I can get more moth lore, what's coming up? Ah, okay, that's good. Until I can get more moth lore, I cannot progress in the manses. And yeah, in the meantime, I should just collect these. Seek the cup in the birthing bed, the Pine Knight is told. The midwife at the birthing bed, to his amazement, is the Mountain Mother. In the fit of awe, he both gelds and flays himself. The vigilant storm bursts joyfully from the remains. You know, you might be starting to get the impression that the occultists in the past were not the most sane of people. And you would be right in that assumption. Yeah, right, I forgot to read her. Isabet, an acquaintance. Isabet has always been most comfortable by moonlight. She has excellent night vision. She's often overlooked in the daylight. And we have Rose. Rose is a sly miss, and she recognizes you as someone uncommon. Well now. Whoops. Please, game, don't do this to me. Let's take that one, that's a safe one. Because I do not want to get another, another piece of restlessness. The Viennese Conundra. Nico van Driels describes odd events in Vienna. The disappearance of children, epidemics of parasite activity, animal mutilations, nightmares of worms, the activities of charitable organizations, the new Lions that funds the burial of the poor. She proposes peculiar connections between these activities. Interesting. I perhaps should move that a bit so I can easily access it next time. And we get the burning of the unburned god. Compiled by J. Wigglesworth Jensen from Old Tradition of Rural Persia. And we all know burning gods is a really fun pastime, right? I mean, who doesn't burn a god just once or twice a week? Did not mean to put that there. Who do we get another hanger on? Boring. Boring, that one. Another collection of essays and... okay. Aaron's scholarship is dubious, but she writes pithily into the instance of sudden and violent deaths are interspersed with aphorisms. Hours don't dream. Long try not to do. Ah, okay. That just screwed with my brain for a bit, so... when our ancestors forged swords, taught the art of martial movement, spoke curses on the eve of battle, all these things shared certain patterns. Aspect edge. All conquest occurs at the edge. One who dwells there is blind and cannot be wounded. Another is strong and grows stronger. Fascinating. Jensen hypothesizes a pre-Zoroastrian fire deity whose rites were the rites of smiths. This is obviously Forge lore. The Locksmith's Dream. Portions and Proportions. Interesting. The second volume of Theresa Galmier's examination of the parallels and mystic dreams of artisans. The frontispiece has been slashed with a razor. What have we here? Jensen ultimately concludes, with the apparent reluctance, that the deity was a goddess. He suggests that its gender may have been the cause of its oppression. The rites described are often eerie, sometimes grisly. We have the Rite of the Crucible Soul. This rite uses an instrument of power to set the blood afire. Fire is the legion of the skin of the world. The assistant rarely survives unharmed. Ooh, got lucky again. This is one of the rituals that kills whatever you use it with, if it's a person. Though later you can use summoning rituals and kill the summoned creatures instead, which is actually quite funny, since you can use this specific rite to summon these creatures. So in the end you can kill a creature to summon another one of it. Traveling at Night Volume 2. The Annotated Dream Journals, yes, this is the second volume. We have read the description already. Let's read this one. In this volume, Galmir records fewer dreams and explicates more of her own elaborate theories. We see this again and again. What is below cannot escape what is above. If you've ever been caught outside by rain without an umbrella, you will know that one to be true. Unnecessary comparison perhaps, but I felt like making it. That's good. Our dread has been sitting here for a long time. Now that it becomes relevant, it's gone, which is very good. Let's see. I'm moving on, Ms. Mullen informs you. My stock is largely exhausted, and the Suppression Bureau taken interest, so it's goodbye. This last book is nonsense, but I've tucked some interesting papers in the back as a thanks for your custom. This is a new type of lore. This is knock. Yes? Every door the mantis requires a sacrifice before it will open. The human rights prescribe the manner of the sacrifice. Knock. The knock permits no seal and no isolation. It thrusts us gleefully out of the safety of ignorance. Soon, quite soon, we will have all of the lores. What's so special about Knock is that when studied with any other lore, it will the lore that's studied will become Knock lore as well. So Knock is by far the easiest lore to combine and level up, so to speak. Also, yes, that is what it is. Something, something, deep mysteries! Something. A dreadful souffle of half-digested rumor about the secret worlds and the irrelevance of contemporary morality, including a catalogue of unlikely and probably invented debaucheries. I think this is the game poking fun at its own writing, which is nice. Moreland's shop, sadly, is closed now, and we will have to look at other ways of gaining lore and books. We now have Eau Claire. Eau Claire has a scholarly aspect and a morbid streak. So we cannot buy any more books, but this also means that our explore is free. I can use health to explore. Crowded thoroughfares by day, a fog-wrapped labyrinth by night. I walk the streets, seeking secrets until I can walk no more. The finest artisans all dream of the white door at the end. I'm no artisan, only a scholar. I think there's a secret that all these artisans know, but I think the secret is only half the story. Here we have another piece of Knock lore. And I actually hate to have all this erudition go to waste, so I will now study Passion and attempt to combine my two Grail lores. This here is an opportunity to hire a mercenary who have certain advantages, which is, what is this little house? A hulking fellow. I get the job done. This hireling may be useful for some expeditions and can help with the hunters and annoyances. This particular hireling has 3 edge, which is not much. There are certain breakpoints for checks, for stat checks basically. I think the breakpoints are 5 and 10. So this guy alone really doesn't do much. Only has a very low chance. Ooh, additional erudition, that's really good. So no, I will not hire him. I will just pass up the opportunity and ignore him basically. Good. This is good. Restlessness when it comes in, when this is on screen, means that it will not result in dread being picked up. Yeah, this gives me fatigued health, but I just have more health. I can explore with... Whoops. Ah, okay. Back to work. Alright. So, now I will attempt to combine the two pieces of Grail lore. Let's see what the exploration reveals. An overlooked place. I might have found somewhere unusual. Ooh. The Ecthesis Club. Well, it's a strip club for all intents and purposes, only that clothes aren't the only things that come off. This will be reviewed later. I'm looking for something specific. Where did my health go? I am not missing something here, right? Who is this? Slukoma Amavasia. The laconic, energetic, bright-eyed, unblinking owner of the Cultist Club. Well, ain't that just perfect? Ah, you can... From this person, you can also learn Sanskrit if you do not find the translation book. There are people... like her. She can teach us Greek. There are people who can teach us languages that you cannot learn from books. Alrighty. Seriously, where has my health gone? Ah, there. I think I will leave my health here before I explore again. Though I should keep talking. Ah. Okay, this demands erudition. We now have exactly 1 glimmering left. If the next thing it requests is glimmering, that's all well and good. If it's not, then that's a problem. But I suppose we could just try again. You don't need to have glimmering or erudition on the field in order to properly combine lore aspects, but it will take a lot longer. It took erudition because it will sometimes at random request reason. And that way you always have a chance of getting things. Darn. I will try this again. And hope I get lucky. Fortunately, I guess to prevent frustration, they give you either a piece of erudition or glimmering if you fail research. This is not what I wanted, but it is interesting. Sometimes the light of the moon is a key to other spaces. I found a place where, for a night or two, the streets curve in unfamiliar ways. If I walk here, I might find insight or be touched by madness. So this is something we can explore. I don't quite know what it will give us, but that's part of the fun, isn't it? Alright, keep talking. Pope Clifton. A bellowing and unorthodox Catholic with a mystic streak and an untrimmed beard. Huh. This, for example, can give me glimmering, but I will not push my luck further because I can get bad things from this. I would rather keep exploring with health because I'm looking for the auction house, which is where I can get more books. Who is this? A bomb maker. Perhaps we shouldn't discuss politics just yet. He supplies, or she could be, it's a very anonymous face, supplies 3 edge, but more importantly 5 forge, which is at the 5 breakpoint where the chances become more probable. I will still not hire them yet. Hirelings are useful for things that require you to take a life, but you don't want to take the life of one of your followers because, as I said, these are only in very limited supply. And keep exploring. Oh. Oh, this is good. This is good. I think we have one already. And the second one means that we have a better chance. Another hireling, another bomb maker. No, I do not want explosives. Thank you. Ah. Sylvia, an acquaintance. Sylvia lost her eye in the woods when she was 9 years old. Every year at Candlemas she returns to the place she buried it. I don't remember what aspect she had, but it might have just been Edge. Could have also been Grail. I think we have a guaranteed research right now. No, do I want the hireling? Ah, did not mean to do that. This place, by the way, is also, I think, the main site where all the things of the Dancer DLC take place. But I would rather just... There it is, Oriflamme's auction house. I would rather just, for now at least, keep exploring the parts of the base game that have been added in the meantime and that I haven't seen yet. So, this is interesting. Here we go, and we have this, which we don't need because we already know Sanskrit. So we just let this pass by. The problem here is, if something times out here, it is gone forever, because someone else bought it, and well, though that person could be anywhere now. So that is one of the things that we really need to watch out for, because there are unique pieces of lore in the auction house. And we managed to successfully combine our Grail lore, which is quite nice. We will now continue reading. In this case, The Traveling at Night, Volume 2. There is an extensive discussion of the similarities between Lopoli's own dreams and those of the Emperor Elagabalus, yeah, that's it, who Lopoli regards as a dupe of or avatar of the sun in rags. The white is west of the world, Lopoli remarks, and winter does not wait forever. You gotta give the the developers sure like their long and complicated and unconventional words. I mean, it's a game that's based on the occult, so that should be expected. What is this now? De Bellus Murorum. In Latin, an 18th century epic poem by a synonymous Solifis. How many S's are those? Ah. You bit. Soliphistus, okay, that's easier than expected. Solipsistus, actually. Yoink. You know, the danger when playing this game is, after some time you fall into this automatic trance, basically. And that's how you miss things. It's a very peculiar effect that I think describes dealing with the occult quite well. Elagabalus found his way to the White Door at last, thankfully. His speech can't pass the White Door, and honestly Elagabalus never had anything very interesting to say. I had tried to follow in his footsteps, but I never learned enough of the White. I suppose I'm thankful for that too, but here's what I do know. Ah, so this is another hint that we can use Winter as well as Moth to pass the Stag Door's riddle. Ah. A collection of poetry. I will buy that, because that is something I need to increase my stats. And more auction house going. What's this? A true and complete accounting of of the Asclepian mysteries of the roots of the house, reproduced by one Riley Grease from, supposedly, a much older text in Greek. I really am just stumbling over my words today, especially those long and complicated ones. Or at least the unconventional ones. And more stuff. And I forgot to talk. And I really need to start studying again. The prologue warns at length of the iniquities of one Julian Cosley, a former colleague, who Hersal now describes darkly as a worm of worms. It seems Cosley had advised Hersal in the early writing of the book, but Hersal later I think that's Hersal, might be a French name, later became suspicious. I don't remember what book the other person wrote, but we have written it already. What have we... Yeah, this is it. This is Stumm. This is one unique piece of lore you can only get from the auction house. A can of nitrate film labeled Stumm, silent or perhaps mute. The director's name, Yannick Grosse, is shakily appended. Oh, thanks for the follow. Ergo will see? Is that how I pronounce your name? Also, the follow animation you just saw was made by my wonderful sister, who is maybe still in chat. Say hi, please, again. Hersal identifies blood, silver, design, and the worms as the central axis of each of the histories and claims that the so-called second history is the true one. Yay, I did something right! At least I didn't stumble over your name, as I have been stumbling over those in the books. Well, that's a relief. Let's see. That's more poetry? Let's get that one. And more sickness. And since our study is free right now, I will study my health and gain a vitality so I don't use money. Because, you know, I need money for books. And books are evidently more important than health. What's this? No, I don't need that one. I have that one already. Who have we here? Another hanger-on. Well, I personally prefer to recruit, to get to know a lot of people and then get back to them once I'm done with the books, because then I can work on combining lore. Or sending people on expeditions and studying those books. So... More information stuff. Alright. Let's just tough out the injury, the sickness, and be going, I suppose. And more auctioneer buying. And I should be reading a book. While the individual K attends the meetings, black dogs are sacrificed and quartered. When the individual M is in attendance, black mares are found with their throats slashed. I propose that these sacrifices are not necessary, but that our Legion friends might consider them fitting. Herewith diagrams of mutilations. Delicious. Got my health back. And I will promptly use it to dream. Yeah, Cultist Simulator is very much a game about of juggling different activities and not forgetting about a single one of them. Oh, it seems I have exhausted the pool here too. Something deep mysteries. I will not buy it. Actually, no, I will buy it. Give me. I want it. I want a second copy as a trophy. Who do we have? Enid, an acquaintance. Enid speaks softly and sometimes her gaze doesn't focus on anything visible. It may be that you dreamed the same dreams. Alright, keep talking, I suppose. I'm still there is one specific follower I would like to recruit. Her flavor text is, especially those, when you recruit a follower, their flavor text changes, and I like her flavor text a lot. Medusa's riddle, then, I choose to render as what is not seen. There is another riddle, one I have heard as rendered as what may be lost. I will delineate some historic attempts to answer it. These are in themselves, in some sense, sacrifices. And there we have it. That is our answer. That is the exact answer we need. This is what Gabby asked of us, and this is what we will answer to him. Let's see what we have. Well, dodge fascination there. Don't need the influence, really. This is a 6th order influence now. Okay. Now let's jump into our dreams. Oh. Might have been that someone, for some reason, made a higher bid than us. On the something deep mysteries for reasons. I mean, to each their own. I mean, I considered buying it in the first place as well, so... Stack Doors Riddle. Let's go. This is not the... Wait, what? Wait. Wait, which riddle is it? Where is... Ah! This is a different riddle, of course. Right. Where is mercy found? Okay. Do I need... This is not the answer. Is... Ah, okay. Right. There are different riddles and different answers. Okay, now I will finish translating and studying these books. Then I will do some Grail. Do some Grail combining. I also love the attention to detail in this game. Like, the eyes blink, the followers blink. It's something that you don't always notice, but when you do, it's cool. It's actually kind of unsettling when you notice the first time. Okay, so I have translated this now. Descriptions of... Yes, I have read that already. It's unlikely to be genuine, but it makes reference to the house without... sorry, I want to read that. The house without walls and it's wood, right in the prologue. Let's read it. This is very obviously not an antique text. At the very least, it has been badly mutilated, but it contains substantial, intriguing material, especially a persuasive, thank you, comparison of the house without walls, without doors to the human body and its many portals. So I will require some other lore in the 6th intensity. Who have we here now? Saliba, an acquaintance. Saliba is a man of prodigious appetites. He is long past the point where their satisfaction is giving him any pleasure. He has learned so very much. I don't think there is much to do with exploring. I'd rather just sit on these for now. Because I do not know if I need them for anything. Or rather, before I start combining them, I would like to first exhaust all the unique locations that offer themselves in the lower levels before I move on to the higher levels. The direction of death is down, the book explains. The peacock door has been considered a rent or an abrasion, but in some respects it's more like a mouth, if not a more treasured point of entry. Discussion of the doors include a rite which may conjure creatures through these doors, although key incantations are missing. Ooh, that's good. Rite of the map's edge. The vagabond is the only hour that never enters the manses. The rite must be performed in the right place, in the right time, and the vagabond will take that rightness for her own. Alright. I need to translate this one. Give me my Latin. These are both already in whatever the canonical language of this place is. Which may just be English. It may not be. We do not know. Just give me this one. Now we can dream with a fascination to limit our dread. Because... no, okay. The season of suspicion is coming up, which is fine because we have not done anything notorious yet. Soon. Soon. And I will keep talking. The thing is also, the talk verb is used to use your followers for special things. For example, a follower with the forge aspect can use their abilities to craft certain items or repair certain items. And for example, a follower with the edge aspect can go out and murder someone, which gives you a corpse, which you need for some of the rituals. The reason I personally want to go with heart this time is not only because I want to try for the heart victory, but also because heart allows you to get rid of notoriety, which allows me to much more quickly make expeditions. So I would make an expedition and then have my follower mingle with people at a party and convince them that no, we aren't that bad of a person. We're okay. We're just misunderstood. I mean, we might be misunderstood, but we might also be bad people. That wholly depends. But as something deep mystery says, what is mortal morality even to us? We also got Count Jannings. Jannings, actually, that's a German name. Count Gottlob Jannings represents a continental confraternity of physicians and duelists. He could use your assistance. What does he... Okay. Okay, these three yeah, the patrons as I said, I do not have a use for, because for that I would need a higher aspect of lore to consistently fulfill the requests. Nothing bad happens if you don't, but if you can't fulfill your request, you're just wasting time, basically. And the request just sits there on the table and takes up space. The poem elliptically describes a war between beasts, weather phenomena, and arcane concepts. It's quite specific about their tactics. Sorry, I'm just getting myself some more water, and I'm bumping against my mic stand. More restlessness. What's coming up? Okay. I do not have fascination, so I should not be worried. It's really a good thing to get into the habit of checking time passes each time it ticks over, because it allows you to plan around things much more. The 2-1 joined and the horned distinguished. Consequently, blood. Julark's lesson. This is a bone-deep story. The 1,000 men learned in and this is not that hard of a word. Come on. Antiquity of blood and its exits. To speak it aloud is to hear the sword hiss. Because contrary to popular belief, swords hiss. They do not swing. Or whatever sharp sound is usually made to indicate sharpness. The wood lies outside the walls of the manses. As a student of histories knows, the manses has no walls. Rhaenyra, an acquaintance. Rhaenyra has been found not guilty 3 times in 3 separate jurisdictions. She will never be found guilty of anything. That really sounds like someone we could use. And this table looks like something I really should reorganize, but There is no perfect way to organize the table. You will run out of space to have clearly marked sections for everything. Because right now I only have the lore and the followers. Soon we will also get artifacts that we can use for things, and these will probably land up here. And the thing is, if I zoom out this far, I can't read a lot of the things, and you won't be able to read a lot of the things either, because, well, my internet connection is not enough to stream in a higher resolution, sadly. I could try to cut it down to 30 FPS, which might probably be a good idea. Down to 30 FPS, lower the bitrate a bit, because this game mostly has static images, which is very compression friendly, I think. And yeah, I might try for next time to stream in 1080p, pull the FPS down to 30, and yeah, lower the bitrate a bit. I will see. Also, regarding to when that is, that will be next Friday at starting at 3 p.m. of +1 time, basically, so Central European time. This whole video VOD thing I'm recording will also be uploaded to YouTube afterwards, so yeah. Elopoli describes how he came to make repeated visits to a dream world via what he calls silver dreams. Trying to think your way into a wood, he explains, is like thinking your way to being in love. But I did find a secret that helped. Okay, so we do not know that Moth, we do not need this higher influence, so there is no use in trying to combine the lower ones. For now, at least. Maybe we need a ritual later that needs Moth. Yes, study the last book we have here. And then I think after this book is done, I think it's time to found our cult. Especially once he has ticked down, because that means our notoriety will remain there for a while and decay. The dances draw from the traditions of the mysteries of the cults of Isis and of Cybele, but include both symbolic and literal flayings. And the human heart is always central in the rites. The author punctuates his accounts with queasily sensuous descriptions of his own interrupted feasts. Who did we have? Dr. That's an I, right? Dr. Ibn al-Adim. Dr. Ibn al-Adim called the Apolline has an interest in overlooked history. He could use your assistance. He can teach us. He can teach us Aramic. Or Aramaic. Yeah, Aramaic, yeah. That. 3 A's in that, not 2. Yeah. Which is a language you cannot learn from books. But he will not accept payment in regular funds. He will demand payment of some other form. That is the Spintria, or the Spintria in singular. There are 3 versions of this, and he will, I think, accept the silver one as payment. I don't remember which one the 3 were. It might be iron, copper or bronze, and then silver. I don't think there's a gold one. So, at these greatest feasts, a black pig is always crowned as king before its slaying. On this occasion, its heart was weighed in bounds against a knot of feathers, and its skin became a cape for the efficient. Its flesh was left for the crows, but I must confess my interest was not in its carcass, but in the perfumed flesh of the milliner laid fresh in the earth. We now have another 6th order influence of, in this case, of heart, a waking chant. Who could hear this and remain unmoved? The sleeping, the dead, the earth and the sky? Alright. I will wait for him to finish his investigations. His hopeless investigations. But in the meantime, I will study with my reason once and with my passion once in order to give myself a good chance of combining these 2 pieces of Grail lore. Because getting another 6th order influence of lore is a good thing. Ugh, I must say, streaming for... I haven't been doing this ever before, so talking without stop more or less, this is really taxing on my voice. I may keep going for like another 45 minutes, but then I may just call it a day. No, wait, right here. Contentment. Okay, our adversary is done. Who will be my first recruit? Who will be my first recruit? Huh. I suppose I will take Rose. Here is someone I might work with, and a companion or a follower, but first I must give them something to follow. A society, a sodality, an order, a cult. Title drop. So, found a mystical organization. I have begun my true work. The authorities will take an interest in it. I must be ready for them. So this will give us notoriety. Certain acts are not quickly forgotten. This, when the detective gets his hands on this, he will construct evidence. This evidence takes a very long time to decay, and it's not a good idea to build up more notoriety while evidence is on the table. Because, well, too much evidence and one of your followers might get arrested. Or you. And nobody really knows what the Suppression Bureau does to those it arrests. So, it's best not to find out. Tradition and compulsion. Old, new, or both together. We will be following the doctrine of heart. A cult society dedicated to a drumbeat which can never end. The temple unceasing is what it will be. And while I'm at it, I will try to combine the Grail lore. So, this requires passion. The hour we serve demands that our passions are devoted to its purpose. I must give of myself. Damn it. Ah. That system, the snapping system could use a little bit of work, but it's a good thing we have it now, because back in the day we did not have a snapping system, and the cards would just be all over the place, which is not a fun thing. See, here he is. Just seeing my cult and thinking, hey, I can build a case on this, and he would be right. A cult with only one member is an unusual habit. I must have a recruit. That is Rose in this case. Oh, research is happening. So, I have found my cult. This is a step to greater power. Use your cult to recruit and promote followers. Talk a follower about your cult and send them on cult business. So, we have Rose, a believer now. Her aspect is... edge. Rose's slime is, but loyal. So, what we can do now is... I'll just park my cult down here. What I can do now is, for example, also temporary headquarters will park next to it. I should probably put them over here so I can have this open. I can, for example, take Rose in here, increase this, and I need trappings, which I suppose I can use my glimmering for this. Ah, I'm one short. I am one short. I need 8 heart in order to promote someone. But I need much less to recruit someone. So, instead of starting a recruiting spree right now, I will keep talking of esoteric matters. I believe that is what I will be doing for the remainder of the stream, and I will move on to the spicier matters on Friday. This here is tentative evidence. The hunter has found evidence, real or imagined, of my sins. This takes a long time to decay. But it will decay eventually, and as long as I don't do anything suspicious in the meantime, I will be good. Which is why I also just want to keep just keep talking. Ah, damn it failed. Just keep this going. So, the thing is, each time you complete an expedition, you will gain notoriety. And if you already have evidence on the board, that's a very bad idea. Because there may be other random occurrences that gain you notoriety. You may just find notoriety while you're dreaming. Talking about dreaming, let's dream. Okay, who do we have? Another hanger-on. These are useful, but not as useful as properly promoted cultists. I mean, for all intents and purposes, these ones will be the first to go if something needs to go. That is just what they are. Nameless, faceless people whose main purpose is to be sacrificed. This here is interesting. Right, these also have custom lore when you pick out something special. Last night I dreamt of a blue silk pavilion overlooking the cloud labyrinth of the Bounds. I listened to the mistress of the place and speak to other visitors. The Suppression Bureau come here. Did you know that? I think they hope to recruit me as an ally. She snorts derisively after what they tried to do to Christopher. But their folly is your fortune. I will tell you something that may help you if the Bureau ever troubles you. This is a favor from authority. If the evidence builds up too much and you have one of these, you get away scot-free, which is nice, but they are hard to come by. I mean, they might not be hard to come by, but they are hard to come by when you need them. Yeah, the hunter meanwhile is just gobbling up all my mystique and just working hours on end and not doing anything productive really. It just... Oh, there she is! Clovette and Acquaintance. Clovette is happy in a way that the Brooks no counter argument to happiness. She's my favorite cultist, really. I don't know, I just like her flavor text. Let's recruit her. Yoink, and this. And I have enough. This one is ready. And when you do influential stuff like that, damn it. When you do influential stuff like that, you get this, this projection going on the table. Okay, let's see. There is also a special case of the society based on secret histories. They can promote followers with any type of lore, but the disadvantage is they cannot promote them twice. Because usually you can promote your follower, you can first recruit them, then promote them. If your founding principle and the aspect of the follower match up, then you can promote the follower another time. The ceremony is resonant as thunder in a church. I know it well, I wrote it myself. So, Clovette's determined happiness now borders on the fanatical. This is the second iteration of her flavor text. Now, I can do this again, because she already has heart. I do not need anything more and can promote her as well. My follower will kneel as a novice and raise as an initiate. I will administer the necessary oaths myself. Yes, I gained the lore. Delightful sacrament, so pleasant upon the ear, one could listen over and over. These are the words that make sacrifice sweet. I do not know if this is the answer to the riddle, and I might try. I might just try later. But for now, I need to cure my illness. And more restlessness. I think, yes. Restlessness can be used to promote, can be used in the trapping slot, because it has heart. It really has a lot of aspects, and therefore these 5 cults are quite easy to use. This is also what you can use these temporary influences for. You use those for rituals or for recruiting people. We seed our mouths to the thunder. We seed our feet to the dance. We seed our skins to the night. We do not cease. We do not cease. We do not cease. Clovette's optimism is daunting. She wields her joy like a hammer. I don't know why, but I like that sentence. And in order to get rid of my restlessness, I will now promote Rose with this. Yeah, this is also why you want to have some cultists ready to promote, because that gives you the ability to get rid of restlessness without, well, without buying drugs. To get rid of the dread afterwards. And it allows you to deal with the problem before it arises, because if Bleak Thoughts is active, it will just suck up the dread before you have any chance to click on it. Same chant again. What's her flavor text? Rose has sharpened her cunning to a concentrated point. So yes, in the second... Yeah, in the second one, they gain 5 of their aspect. Which is very useful, because that is, as I said, one of the breakpoints, for example, for the explorations. Expeditions. The expeditions are basically a series of stat checks. And if you pass them, you succeed. And I think... If you have above 10 of an aspect, you cannot fail in these checks, and not failing means that you have. See, that's what I meant. You have no chance of losing a follower. Losing a follower to an expedition is very, very heartbreaking, because, well, it's mostly because of your own fault. You shouldn't have done the expedition without the proper preparation, and that follower is now gone forever. And if that was your only promoted follower of that aspect, well, that's a problem now, isn't it? Who do we have? Ah yes, Populous Cell. An amiable woman of property. She'd like to talk to you. I will not talk to you. At least not now. She will, she is the one I spoke of. She will offer you money. And once her timer is over, she will demand a sacrifice. And if you don't give one to her, she'll take you instead. And you will die. Though, if you take the right steps forward, you will be warned. If you don't take the right steps, you might just be walking into this not knowing what she'll do and not have anyone ready. The only thing you can do then is explore and hope for a hireling. I think you can sacrifice those two. Okay, Leo, an acquaintance. Leo is an earnest sort with an interest in your cult. He hangs on your hints about the invisible arts. Okay. Actually, I should just move my recruited cultists down there. Yeah. Oh, I think the evidence decayed. That's nice. Yeah, so as I said, it's not a very good idea to go exploring right now, because I will need to get some people first, so that I don't risk them dying. You can also burn restlessness by just using it for recruiting someone, which is very useful. Even if you don't need it. Which, in fact, I will do this right now. I will recruit Laidlaw. Again with this. You can go over the cap and it will use your restlessness. So yeah, dread is only really a problem early and very late. When you're constantly dreaming. Again, which I should be doing. When you're constantly dreaming and when you're dreaming, where did my train of thought go? Yeah, when you're dreaming and your dream is used up, so you can't buy the drugs in time. See, that restlessness, I would not have had the opportunity to neutralize it, because it would have just been sucked up by the... It would have just been sucked up by the bleak thoughts. Okay, yeah. I mean, I suppose there's really not much to talk about now. Yeah, I suppose. I've been streaming for 3 hours. I'll go for another half hour and then just quit the stream for now. Because, yeah, my voice is getting quite a bit strained, and this is a good point to stop, really. Also, we have Victor. Victor is a sly fellow, and he knows an unusual opportunity when he sees it. Sounds like him and Rose would get along nicely. Oh, and my work almost timed out. That's something you don't want to have happen, because it disrupts your flow of actions, and you have to go through the motions of begging your employers not to fire you outright. And it temporarily eats up another reason, which is another reason why it's bad. Tristan, an acquaintance. Tristan dislikes distractions. Tristan gets things done. And just with the books, there will be something you get when you try to recruit someone who, I mean, and there's nothing left in the pool. It's not quite as funny or permanent as the something something deep mysteries, but it's still okay. And I suppose while we're not doing anything, I can just leave this here and leave it running. And again, I did not see that that wonderful rose that gave me the contentment. Well, I suppose that's okay. There is apparently also a mechanic in this this version of the game that is rivals, which I don't know, which happens if you mistreat your followers somehow, or maybe if you let people die, and I don't know. It's new to me. I have not seen it before. Hopefully we will never encounter it, because that means I have managed my cultists well, but it is interesting. Versian, an acquaintance. Versian has operated her establishment for almost 20 years. She has never employed an assistant. Her hands are terribly strong. I think this is a Forge follower. And... nope. Research failed. At least it fails early. So I can quickly start again with the advantage. And we are sick once again. Just great. I also really do love the soundtrack of the game. Also, there is one sound... Huh. There is one song that has been suspiciously absent. I like that one quite a lot. And it has not shown up as far as I remember. Maybe I need to meet certain conditions in order for it to show up. Maybe I need to have Dread on the board. Maybe... I don't know. Maybe there needs to be some sort of bad situation. Yeah, but I really do love the soundtrack and the sound design of this game. Where'd my reason go? Ah. It's been eaten by my research. And now I need to do that again. Darn. Okay. You know what's funny? If there is a lost condition coming up, I can just pop a passion into my work and escape into the... even if I'm starving or dying. If I'm happy with my work, I'm completely immune to illness. If this ticks down before the last condition. Okay. Have I exhausted my cultist pool? Let's explore it. Let's see what it does. This might also give me notoriety, though. I should actually try combining these two. Let's see what this leads to. Alright. I suppose while I'm not talking to anyone, I will recruit Leo into my cult. So yep, it does, yes. It does result in notoriety following this up. So we have Porter here. Porter was a barber until the court case. Okay, let us talk more. It might be that after a... oops, I missed this. It might be that after a certain point you cannot gain followers by talking and must follow up on rumors. Which of course slows you down further. Of course he will use it to construct a case against me. Naturally. And I will buy myself some drugs to get rid of this dread. Because... yeah, there is more restlessness coming up. See? Oh, and this pops out. Delightful. So we get more evidence. And... no. Dorothy. Dorothy is an enthusiastic sort with an eclectic reading habit. She's fascinated by my hints about the shapes beneath the world's skin. Okay, so it seems that you just only get... only sometimes get a rumor. Whoops, I should have burned that restlessness. Though, this might just end... what's happening now? What is happening now? Okay. That was strange. I've never seen this before. It seems to be based on the... Ah! It absorbed the second... it absorbed the second... the second thing. The second thread. I suppose that's where that graphic comes in. That's nice. Gives you another way that, hey, you should really be doing drugs right now. Who would it find? Neville pause before he speaks. He flinches easily. He laughs whenever he thinks you've made a joke. Okay. This looks like successful research, I think. Or a beginning of it, at least. What aspects does this have? Okay, just moth. Okay. This may just be another failed research attempt, but... Huh, Violet. Violet has always given unstingily of her time, easing the pain of the dying. She is a winter follower, I believe. And I will now use this restlessness to... Oh wait, Leo is already in the cult. What's his new lore? Leo is an earnest sort, but he's prepared to do what he must. He's also hard, which is good. Wait, that means I can... Yeah, I will just promote him again with my restlessness. I am happy to just repeatedly fail this research because I don't have anything else I can use my research slot for anyways, now that I don't have any books and I don't have any locations I can visit. Leo, a disciple. Leo still yearns to preserve what is good and valuable, but he understands that to protect one's ideals, one must sometimes do questionable things. All right. Also, I saw that my view count just jumped up by 1, so hello to whoever just joined my stream, and bye to Mary. This stream will not be going on for much longer because I've already been streaming for 3 hours and around 10 minutes. I will stream again on Friday at around the same time. I've started at 3 p.m. Central European time. Words are hard. And there is suddenly a lot going on here. Another hanger-on. This whole stream recording will also be uploaded to YouTube afterwards. And this winter lore really refuses to be researched. I mean, I know I should properly get the requisites, but well, yeah. He just absorbed my evidence again to review it, and well, the evidence is about to expire. How nice. How nice. Okay, now I'm gonna do it. This only seems to be giving us erudition, so... Elrich, an acquaintance. An elegant man of inelegant habits. So, if you've just joined, at this point we're just exhausting the follower pool before promoting any of them. Unless we get restlessness, which we will promptly burn using the promotion. I mean, unless the timer just happens to be different. I think I can let that red sit there for a while. Best get rid of it. Who did I get? Cat Caro. Cat Caro, as she styles herself, earns a living as a stage medium and a fortune teller. She may have deeper talents. So... you know what, I'll cure this illness, and I think then I'll stop the stream, because my voice is honestly getting quite strained, and I have largely ran out of interesting things to talk about. Yeah, one last follower, one last cured illness, maybe wait. Oh, this is successful research, finally. I suppose that's a good note to delete the stream on. Ah, right, this permanently, I mean not permanently, this holds my reason hostage, I suppose. And I'll start the next work cycle. Oops. We'll leave it at this. So, all of you who are still watching, thanks for joining me, and maybe I'll see you again on Friday, 3 PM Central European Time. Well, have a good evening, day, or whatever part of the day you're watching at. So, goodbye.